I want to prove something to you that I think you're going to benefit from. I have really terrible self-esteem. And a few years ago, I had a really, really messed up separation. And since then, I've pretty much cried every single day. And I keep telling myself that, oh, I have self-esteem, I'm fine, I'm this and that, and then I avoid the camera completely. I stumble on my words, I fidget, I do ridiculous things to try to make up for this first house problem. And today, watching a video about astrology, I realized, with assistance of that video, that the house where Saturn is and Pluto, the opposite of it is what you're supposed to work on. And Saturn and Pluto are in my 7th house, the house of relationships, which is directly opposite of the first house, which is the house of you and your body. And just like how I can't keep focusing on this camera because looking at myself is weird, I'm realizing that how is anybody else supposed to look at me if I can't look at myself? How am I supposed to interact with anybody else if my dominant thought of myself is that I'm weird, or that I don't look right, or that I feel ugly, or that, I'll never amount to being a woman, or that whatever it may be for you. Maybe it's just me. I am missing out. And I know I'm supposed to be, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, but I feel like I'm missing out on everything I could have and everything I could be doing if I was farther along. And it's ridiculous because I can't be farther along because I'm exactly where I am, which means this thing of self-love is the most important thing for you to learn. Really. Like, I've messed up so many relationships because I didn't care about myself. I didn't care about how I looked. I didn't care about what I ate. I didn't care about how I treated people. I was a mess. And I thought I wasn't a mess. I thought I was fine. And I wasn't whatsoever. And I'm still going to make a transition timeline video just for shits and giggles, because one main reason was that when I started transitioning, a few of the videos really helped me. And I figure if I make one, it might be inspiring to someone else, because I don't look anything like I did when I started. Nothing. So to those of you who are like, oh, I'll never be pretty enough for a woman, I'll never be this or that, you have no idea what you're gonna look like. None. You have no freaking clue. Yeah, you can use affirmations, you can use subliminals, you can use everything else, but at the core of it, if you truly don't believe yourself to be beautiful and lovable, none of those things will work. So I'm giving you a cheat sheet right now. Look up your astrology chart, okay? Find where Jupiter, or find where Saturn and Pluto are. And then look at the house opposite of it. So mine are in the 7th, which means the opposite is the 1st, which means I have to work on myself in order for me to have a relationship with anybody or anything. Right now in my life, I have no friends. I have maybe I see my family one day out of the month, maybe. I see my neighbors maybe once or twice every 2 weeks. And the only interactions I have with people are the cashiers at the stores. And I kept thinking, what's wrong with me? And today it like dawned on me. Oh, right, I'm isolating myself completely because I feel ridiculously insecure about everything, and no matter what I'm doing, I'm still in this state of isolation. So what am I going to do? What's the most ridiculous way for me to break this pattern? Put on my sweater and my Batman my Batman shirt and sit in my comfy couch and make a video. No makeup, no filters, nothing. Like, I barely own any makeup anyway. I don't really deal with skincare. I mean, sometimes I'll put olive oil or coconut oil on, but other than that, I don't really deal with it. I exercise a lot. I do a lot of face yoga and normal yoga. I mean, I didn't have these, so take care of yourself is what I'm saying. The first house is all about you. If you want a good relationship, you're gonna have to go into your first house, which is kind of funny because my apartment has the number 208 on it, and if you break it down with numerology, it's a 1, which is the self. So yeah, so this moment of lack of self-esteem led me to inspired me to plaster this video on the internet, and it's all over the place, and I don't really care. There's so many different labels you can slap on people with, like, oh, they don't know how to speak, or they're this, or they're that, or whatever. I don't care. I really don't. Like, it's been becoming really apparent to me how much I've cared about what other people think and how much it's cost me. And I refuse to allow my inner dialogue and other people's opinions to affect my life anymore. To the best of my abilities, simply because what I lost at the time of losing it. No amount. Like, yeah, I'm grateful for what happened because it's led me to realize this deep, dark, hidden secret I've kept from myself. And it means that once this is, whatever, once it's healed, or this process of self-love will bring everything I've ever wanted, because the block to the manifestation is me. I haven't been allowing myself to have a relationship because it means someone would have to look at me. And if I can't look at myself in the mirror, that means that I won't let someone else look at me in person. Even when I was with my partner, I was very, very insecure about my body, my naked body, my clothed body, everything. I mean, I can point out features to you I don't like, but that's not going to get us anywhere. So, and at first I thought it was completely dysphoria, by the way, to all you transgender people. It's not just dysphoria. The way you feel about yourself stems from multiple lifetimes, not just this one. And it culminates into the present moment because you're the leading edge of your consciousness. And it's, how do I word this? In order for you to really move through all of your issues, you have to look at who you are now. Your physical body, your emotional state, your mental state, your awareness of energy in the spiritual world, astrology, and your inner dialogue. And you can sum it up into a tiny little boop of, can you look at yourself on video? And when you do, what are your thoughts? Can you imagine yourself being completely naked in front of somebody else? Physically, emotionally, mentally vulnerable? If not, what are the thoughts that are keeping you from it? Why would you do that to yourself? When those thoughts are what's keeping you from who you need to be and who you are. I had a Facebook post a few days ago regarding the inner dialogue and the voice inside your head, that inner critic and the inner kiss ass. and it's basically your best friend. So for me, I've been very insecure about everything in my life. And being on my own in this apartment and living in a different state from anybody I've ever known, and transitioning with like, really, my sister has been great, but I see her maybe once a month, maybe once or twice, like in 2 months. She sends me great Instagram posts, which bring a smile to my face every night. But other than that, I've been doing this on my own. I don't have I don't have hugs. I don't have friends to hang out with. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't have sex of any kind, really. I'm I'm so to myself that all I have been aware of is my own inner dialogue. And this has been going on for almost my entire life. I've been a very, very, very independent person, and that independence has not gone to the point where I've been financially secure or secure with my body. I've been the kind of independent where I've done everything. Like, I had to grow up really early, really early. A lot of really messed up things happened to me, and I've had to carry a lot of responsibility. I didn't have a childhood. I had intermittent moments of childhood experiences in between carrying the weight of a lot of people in my family, an extended family. And there was no stability. So there was no like, oh, you went to this school for all these years. No, we moved almost every year. Every time the rent lease was up, we moved. And not just to a different apartment, to different countries. And no, my dad wasn't in the army. At least not when I was born. He was there for the first 3 years of my life, I think. 1980 to 1983, and then whatever. Whole point of it is, this experience has led me to see myself for someone I never thought I was. I've seen a lot of my behavior. And I've noticed how ridiculous I've been. And how cruel to myself I have been. And how much I have denied myself. Everything. Everything. And why? Because I had to be the good boy or the good girl. All the time. I was never good enough to be a good boy or a good man. And now I've been deemed as not good enough to be a woman. So what am I supposed to do? Be like, can I be good enough to be a ghost? Apparently, I haven't been good enough to be a ghost either. And when I started listening to that inner dialogue, I noticed it's basically how I was when I was a little kid, like 5, 6 years old. I was so mean to myself. And you'd think like you would have noticed it earlier, right? But no. I didn't notice it till last week. I'm almost 39. And I noticed, like, everything I was saying to myself, I sounded like I sounded like how I spoke to people when I was really, really fed up with what they were doing. So when I gave, like, harsh advice to someone, where I remember one time this old friend who was a girl, she was always like, oh, I'm so ugly, I'm so this. And I'm like, you're fucking ugly. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely hideous, and you shouldn't even bother dating anybody. And she's like, why would you say that? I'm like, I'm just agreeing with you. I mean, obviously, you're fat, and your hair looks messed up. And you're not taking care of your body, and you could be doing so much more. And I started ripping her apart, and then we sat there and just looked at each other and going, I love you. Because we said the things to each other that nobody had the courage to say. She was overweight, and people kept telling her, you're fine, you're beautiful. And I'm like, you're fat, you're gaining weight too much, and you're not taking care of yourself. Could I have done it better? Absolutely. And that's what I noticed recently. The things I've been saying to myself have been completely supportive, but at the lowest vibration possible. So instead of saying, oh, I love you and you're a good person and you're beautiful, I would say to myself, you fix your nose, your teeth are messed up, and your hair is weird, stop cutting it, stop changing the color. And I noticed, okay, so if I flip those words around, what does it mean, right? And it's taken me on this ridiculous journey of how I haven't taken care of myself enough, how my beliefs are constantly like, oh, your nose, your teeth, you're this, you're that. And it's just this spiraling thought wave. Why? Because people in my family said those things to me when I was little, and I believed them. And then I repeated them over and over. I was looking at pictures of myself when I was a little kid, and I was perfect. Perfect. I was so cute. You have no idea how cute I was. And people would make fun of me, like tell me how ugly I was and how messed up my face is and how, I look like a little girl. And I'm like, you do realize I was born different, right? But they didn't know. I didn't even know. And I know I'm all over the place. You're just going to have to get used to me speaking in a way where I'm all over the place and I'm speaking to you as if you are a little baddie. Like you can keep up, basically. And astrologically, Gemini. And where is those planets of communication in my chart? They're like Mars, Gemini, and I don't know, Mercury or something. Basically, my chart's all over the place, and it's designed to drive me batty so that I can figure out where my stability is. And I have. And the one thing that was missing from all of it was self-love. And I thought I had it. And I did. I just didn't refine it. So those negative words of, oh, you're ugly, should be followed with, well, okay, I'm grateful that I feel this way, actually. Because some part of me believes that and is expressing it to me. Now, how can I improve my look? And I've been asking myself this every time I get a negative thought. And I've been working on it. And it feels great, actually. I've realized I don't need to be doing so much. I don't need to try so hard for myself. I don't need to be so self-conscious. I don't need to be so insecure at all. And when those thoughts show up, it has nothing to do with gender. I never even felt good enough to be a man. So it has nothing to do with feeling dysphoric about being a female or not. Now, I couldn't say this until I started estrogen, mind you. Because when I was on a testosterone overdrive, my thinking pattern was messed up. I was cruel, I was violent, I was angry, I was raging, like raging. I was the biggest whore. Sorry, Mom. But I was like grade A, class A, number one, yeah. Scorpio sun, cusping Sagittarius. It was fun. It was a lot of fun, and I'm glad I got it out of my system. But it wasn't healthy. It wasn't healthy one bit. Because every time I felt those needs and those urges, from negative self-talk to avoiding anything and digging my head into video games and eating all sorts of bullshit and going to the bars and doing every drug I could think of. I mean, really, the only drug I didn't do was heroin, pretty much, and crack. It was messed up. I did everything I could to avoid this moment right here. Everything. I wasted so much time. And all because I kept listening to the voice inside my head, that inner critic, I think they call it in psychiatry. But that inner critic, your ego, whatever, is your best friend. And it irritated me a few days ago when I had just dyed my hair, because it was all white. Like, see this color? It was all this gorgeous, beautiful white that I had spent months like bleaching and toning and bleaching myself to get it to it. And then I dyed it purple because I felt like I looked old. And I was like, no, I'm only 38. I don't want to look like I'm, some whatever. So I went and dyed it. And then immediately afterwards, I'm like, I hate it. And I sat there on the floor crying, thinking, what the fuck is wrong with me? Why do I keep doing this to myself? I had a great relationship. I completely sabotaged it. I manifested every ridiculous thing in it and then was like, bye, I'm out. I left an entire house closed. I left everything and left with a garbage bag, dude. Like, all because I was listening to this in here telling me, just leave. It'll never work. It's fine. He hates you anyway. And the guy loved me. Like, loved me. And every negative thing I could have thought of came to pass anyway. And when I sat there on the, on the bathroom floor, of all places, having myself a mini meltdown, it really just dawned on me. Like, is this it? Is this my life? Messed up relationships, horrible inner dialogue, being afraid to talk to anybody, keeping myself isolated, manifesting messed up conditions in my body to keep myself from going out anywhere, keeping myself at a income level that prevents me from doing anything. You don't know. You don't know. And then I flipped it in that moment, like grace bestowed something upon me and was like, okay, what's the benefit to all this? What's the benefit? Everything that's going wrong in your life, in my life, everybody's life, right? What's the benefit? If you could look at it like it's energy and transmute it to its opposite side, what is the benefit? The benefit is I've experienced the worst I could experience, truly. And, excuse me, and it was teaching me that I don't have to be a slave to my own fears. That those fears are there for you to face them, obviously. But in order for you to face those fears, you have to be aware that you're not those fears. So I hope you comprehend this. Because if you're feeling ugly, you're not ugly. You're quite beautiful. If you're feeling like you'll never be loved, you're actually really lovable. You're just telling yourself that to keep yourself from being loved and feeling beautiful because you're afraid of being happy, secure, and content. That's all it is. Truly, that's all it is. So what I did and what I've been doing, every time I get a thought, like I was looking in the mirrors back there, like wiping the mirrors down, and I was kept noticing my reflection, and I'm like, oh, I look so weird. Look at the shadows on my face. Look at this, look at that. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna sit in the most shadowy spot in this house and I'm gonna take pictures of myself. And then I was taking the pictures and I'm like, oh, I look so ugly. I look like this, I look like that. And I'm like, no, we're gonna take a video. I'm like, no, we're not gonna take a video and we're not gonna post it online. Yes, we are. So I did. And then every time, the entire time, even now, I'm like, what if people I know see this? What if my exes see this? What if my friends see this? What if my neighbors see this? Got any candy? Because I'm really tired of all this chocolate. Sorry. Oh, and for those wondering about these, the shadowing is really messed up right now, okay? But they're there. And the staining on them is from a laser hair removal device that this homophobe messed with. And I don't have dental insurance. So I've been doing this the natural way, which is taking a while. And these, my little fangs, have been around for quite a while, my entire life actually, since I was 13. First I had this one. Can you imagine going through high school with one of these? And then I had this one. They're completely natural, never been defiled, nothing. And apparently continuous usage of baking soda and lemon water or lemon juice and water with coconut oil pulling fixes this, which is actually true. Oh, I might do like a series or something on this, or take pictures and post them on Instagram as like a progression of how they're healing, because they've been really getting better. It's another thing I was self-conscious about, so here you go. They're actually really strong and good teeth. They're just stained. And no, it has nothing to do with chocolate or any of that. I'm constantly brushing my teeth and flossing with tea tree oil and doing affirmations and everything else. It's just a self-esteem issue. Because here's this tip for you. If they're like this, people won't want to get close to me. So I had kept them like this so people wouldn't get close to me. Because if people think I'm pretty, they might want to talk to me. If people think I'm beautiful, they might want to get close to me. So let's, fuck things up. And I don't care about swearing. I'm not sorry. Anyway, 27 minutes. I'm gonna go. When you get those negative thoughts in your head, what's the opposite? Because it's basically your ego, your inner dialogue telling you how tired of your bullshit it is. So if you're feeling ugly, if you're feeling unloved, you're very beautiful and you're very loved. If you're feeling fat or poor or whatever, you're perfectly capable of making money, and your ego is basically telling you you should eat healthier and stop being afraid. People gain body fat because they're afraid. Really? Oh my God. Every time I do this, this cat interrupts. When I'm meditating, she interrupts. When I'm reading cards, she interrupts. When I'm sleeping, she interrupts. I can be on the toilet, she will interrupt and open the door and jump on my lap. If I'm in the shower, she will jump into the shower. If I'm cooking, she will jump up next to the stove. I have screamed so loud in fear because she jumped up and I thought she was going to jump onto the hot plate. The cat is nuts. And she plays fetch like it's like it'll never end. She's just constantly play fetch. It's exhausting. Like I have I love her. I really do. But oh my God. Oh my God, I've never seen such a demanding cat. Ever. And then I keep thinking, what is it in me that's reflecting this out in the cat? Oh, right, I have no boundaries. None. Like, to the point where a cat thinks it can dominate me. Do you see what I mean? You look at your life and everything going on in your life and realize it's actually happening to show you where you need healing. If you're calling yourself fat, you're probably really wanting to eat healthier and to wear different clothing that accentuates your body and your true shape. If you're feeling old, it's most likely because you need to get laid, you need to feel exhilarated, you need to try different experiences in life and new things. Because what's an old thing? Something that's doing the same thing over and over, a repetitive routine. Young kids people don't age until they're usually in their 30s or 40s when they start physically changing. And it's from personal experience. It takes usually more than 3 traumatic, truly traumatic experiences in the 30s, and then constant grief, and then giving up the will to live. And it's not complete will to live. It's like you're giving up the will to have beautiful skin. You're giving up the will to have a beautiful figure. Because who's going to look at you? Who's going to love you? Who's going to touch you? You've been a mess your entire life. That's why that happens. And then your genetics and your body responds to it. So the way to do any of those things, to reverse aging, to heal your body, to do all of it, is to start living. Really, really live. But first, adjust your thoughts. Imagine you're, what is that analogy? A shepherd. And if one thought goes stray, go and get it and bring it back. You have to be kind to yourself, because other people are just reflecting you back at you. And if you're not kind to yourself, then no one's going to be kind to you. The love of your life can become your worst enemy, all because you aren't treating yourself like you're number one. And mind you, I don't share things with you that I have no experience with, okay? I'm not regurgitating pointless information at you. I am not. And I never will, actually. And if I have before, point it out to me so I can correct it. Because I share things with you from my own experience. Especially from the readings that I do. When I'm reading for you and I give you examples, or I'm picking up on the energy, I've experienced a lot. And when I pick up on certain energies, I can tell you through guidance from the universe and source how to work through it. Because they give me that guidance to give it to you, because I've been through everything I can. I've been through a lot. A lot. And I'm here to help. Because in order for me to help myself, I have to help you. Because I've been alone for too long. And the best way to stop that cycle is to involve you. And the best way to involve you is to make certain that you're okay. And not in my life, to involve you in your own life. Neville Goddard says that where everybody is you pushed out. So I'm another you and you're another me. We're individualized aspects of source. And I love you. And I'm here to help. And I've been through a lot, so you don't have to. Okay? I love you. I love you. I love you. She loves you too, apparently. Go ahead. Give him the entire shebang. You want to say bye? One more. Do you see yourself? Can you? Are you even looking at me? There you are. What do you want? I don't know what that is. You want more cuddles? We just cuddled for like an hour. Fine. No. Give me this tail. Give it to me. It's my tail. I love you. Okay. Bye.